All right. What's up, everybody? Matt B with From Ashes to New. You're listening to Heavy, and we're going to be playing Good Things in Australia.
That you are, my friend. Thanks for joining us today, Matt.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So, from Manchester, you are headed to Australia very soon as part of Good Things 24, mate. So, are you packed and ready to go, or are you more of a last minute sort of a guy?
I'm the last minute guy. I don't think I'm bringing much. I think that I'm going to pack more. I'm going to pack gear. I'm going to pack like sound gear and like posters and stuff like in my luggage. I'm going to bring like just enough for the 2 weeks, like less than 2 weeks we're down there, and everything else is just going to be trying to not pay too much to ship some stuff over there for us to play.
True that. Did I read correctly, mate, that this is going to be your first ever tour of Australia?
Yeah, never been. Never been. It's a bucket list destination for me, and I've been saying it for over a decade. Australia is where I want to go, and we're finally making it happen.
I suppose a big question there, mate, is why have you neglected us for so long then, bro? It's been
Well, it's not entirely up to me. So, if it was up to me, I'd have been there sooner. But it's up to it's up to management, agents, whoever's putting on the festivals and booking the shows, and ultimately the bank account to make sure that we don't go broke trying to get over there to play.
we can live with that, mate. So, what are you actually expecting from Australian crowds, mate? Have you been sort of brought up to speed?
No, I have no idea what to expect. And of course, like the things that you see is like Parkway Drive lighting everything on fire and floating above the crowd. So you don't see, like a new band like us that's going to be coming over there and stripping it down. We're not going to have all the crazy production and stuff like that. Like it's just going to be like an old school throwdown style show. So I have no idea what to expect, and sometimes I really like to enter it like that. Like I like to. It's kind of like going to see a movie. When you hear someone say that a movie is like really awesome or it's really bad, that kind of sets your expectations and it sets the bar. So if you go into it blind, then you have no expectations, you have no bar, and a lot of the times, usually 99% of the time, I leave very satisfied with the way the shows go. So that's what I'm looking forward to do when I get to Australia.
Oh, and the flip side of that coin, mate, with you never been here before is we got no idea what to expect from you either. So run us through a typical from Manchester New live show.
Well, I mean, we've been able to come up through the ranks here in the United States, and we've started adding all sorts of stuff into our show. And again, like I said, I'm not going to be bringing any of that stuff. We won't be bringing anything with us. It's just going to be us, the band, whatever lights the house has given us, and a very stripped back crew. So you're going to be seeing us do something that we haven't done in half a decade or more here. And I'm looking forward to it, man. That's what I say. It's like a throwdown style show. Like we're just gonna get up there. It's gonna be us, our instruments, our music, and the crowd. And there's not gonna be a bunch of fancy video walls to look at. There's not gonna be any pyro or cryo going off, any of that stuff. So you get the stripped back version of From Ashes to New, and it's up to us to make sure that A, we sound great, and B, we perform great, and C, everyone loves it. And I think that that's what I've got a really good feeling that that's what everyone's gonna leave saying, that they love the show.
Boy. So along those lines, mate, like you've been doing this for a long time now, but have you ever had a gig where you just weren't feeling it before you went on? Like, and if so, like, how did you turn that around and put on a good show?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's plenty of times where, I mean, in a way, it's a lot like a job. It's the coolest job ever. But I mean, when you do it a lot, it ends up sometimes you just want to take a break. You get towards the end of tour, man, and you're like, oh my God. Like, the last tour we were on, we were out for 9 weeks. So, you get towards the end of a 9 week tour and you're like, man, I just want to go home. I want to lay in my own bed. I want to see my babies. Like, I want to do all this stuff. So you can get jaded. I think the best way to turn it around is just get on stage, because every single time you get on, like for me especially, when I get on stage, I don't overthink things. I just perform. And I don't think about what's going on outside of stage. The whole world just kind of dissolves. And it's just me, the microphone, the band, and the crowd. And if I don't mess up too bad and have a bad performance, um, it's therapy, man. So even though I might not look forward to going to therapy, once I'm there, I'm like, all right, this is probably the better decision for the day.
Yeah. Good Things features a stack of good bands, mate. You got Corn, Sum 41, Mastodon, Electric Callboy, Kerry King, tons more, mate. But are there many bands on the bill that you haven't played with before?
I mean, I think that there's a few on there that we haven't played with. We actually, I mean, no, I mean, we've played festivals with a lot of these bands. I don't think that we've toured. I'd have to look at the lineup. I don't think we've toured with any of the bands that are on it. But I am looking forward to Electric Callboy. I've never seen them. I've never, toured with them. Never played festivals with them. Nothing. So, and I've always heard that their show is fun. So, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Mhm. You actually raised a good point there, bro. Like the whole festival environment of backstage, like with a whole heap of different bands, is completely different to if you go on tour with a band. But do you often like create friendships and relationships with bands at a festival, or is it sort of more of a party, get in, get out type vibe backstage?
Yeah, you don't really see anybody unless you know people and you're like texting them to meet up and everything. Like you don't really see or meet anybody at festivals. It really is just kind of like a passing thing. Um, you might see people in catering or whatever, but outside of like John Davis and the rest of the guys in Corn, I could walk past pretty much everybody there and not know who they are. So I'm kind of oblivious when it comes to all that stuff. I'm really just out there doing my thing. Touring's a little different. But even sometimes with touring, like it depends on like the way the bands are, or if they're hermits or whatever, you might not see them at all the entire tour. Sometimes people are a little bit more reclusive, and you don't see them until the end of tour, and they're like, "Hey, it's great having you." It's like sick meeting you. You know what I mean? Like, and then that's the end of the tour. Like the way that we do tours is we like to we like when we do a headlining tour or something like that, we like to get, interact with the bands early on and create friendships. And that way the tour is not like weird vibes or something like that. Like it's a good tour. We had that experience with Skillet, when we toured with Skillet, and they like called us in for like a meeting, the first show. And we thought that they were going to call us in, like give us ground rules and like, whatever it was going to be. But it was just like hey, how you doing? Like, happy to have you on the tour if you need anything, and everybody introducing themselves. It was like really cool, and it made it a really cool laid back tour. When that doesn't happen, it's kind of like you almost ask yourself, especially if you're not the headliner, you almost ask yourself like the whole way through the tour, like, is that band, like, do they hate us, so you run into that a little bit. But festivals you don't really read too much into it. Everything's so quick. Like it's a very fast moving day. There's a lot of things that you got to do. A lot of stuff going on. So typically, unless you know them, you don't hang.
Yeah. Oh, well, Heavy should be doing backstage interviews on the day, mate. So everyone we speak to, I'll give them a name tag and tell them to wear it. So when they walk past you, you know who it is.
Just gonna have to say their name and their band. You'll have to say, "Hi, I'm such and such. Like I'm Matt B with From Ashes to New." Like it's gonna have to say that. Because outside of that, dude, I'm oblivious, like completely oblivious.
Sweet. Now, you've also got a couple of your own headlining shows too in Melbourne on December the 4th and Sydney on December the 10th, mate. So are you going to make those shows a little bit different so fans going to both of them get a different experience?
I mean, we'll be playing longer, so I mean, you'll hear more songs. But there's not much opportunity. I mean, I'm transparent. I'm an open book. It costs a lot of money to do this. To get down there, fly all your people down there, fly your gear down there. You have to fly, which I learned recently. You have to fly in between every show. I didn't know that. Up here we're used to driving, or having a bus. So it costs a lot. So we're not able to really we're not bringing anything. There's no production, so things aren't going to be much different. Like I mean, it's going to be smaller stages. So I mean, it's sold out. Probably both shows will probably be sold out, and they're smaller rooms, so it's going to be fun for sure. But yeah, I mean, the only thing that you're getting any different is probably, a handful of different songs that we're playing on the festivals, and whatever lighting rig the house has.
Yeah. I just say someone said it along the good things, bro, and they haven't really heard much of From Ashes to New. Like, what three songs of yours should they listen to get a gauge of what to expect?
I'm gonna go Panic, Nightmare, and Heartache.
Very.
I think that you get the heavy, you get the rap, you get the melodic, and you get the feels that we put in the songs. I think you're getting all of that with those songs, and And I'll tell you this, and I've seen this from our fan base, and I know it just from the way that we perform. Those songs are full of energy for the most part, but they're not even close to the energy that we bring live. Like it's a completely different ball game live. Like we go off. It's kind of like you hit that stage and it's just like an atom bomb, man. It just goes off.
Now, back in June, you released the album Blackout Deluxe, which featured Blackout's original 12 songs plus six extra tracks, including collaborations with Aaron from The Mice and Men. There's Yellow Wolf, Chrissy from Against the Current, Maddie from Memphis May Fire, a Sullivan King remix, and an acoustic version, mate. So, did fans react to that the way you expected? Like it was a bit of a risk, sort of chucking something like that, I think.
Yeah, I think everyone loved it. This is our best performing album we've ever had, and the deluxe has only helped that. Um, so this is the direction that we've wanted to take for years, and we're just going to keep that momentum going. And yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything negative. So there's a song in there that I'm singing, which is different. I mean, I think that you just got to take risks in life. I mean, I'll use Bad Omens as an example. Like I know some people behind the scenes with Bad Omens and producers and things like that. And I had heard that when they created Death of Peace of Mind, that they were like, hey, this is something completely different for us. It's either going to be absolutely sick and everyone's going to love it, or it's going to tank and everyone's going to hate it. But what they did was is they took a risk, and that's the example that I'm using. Is they took a risk, they bet on themselves, they did something really cool, and now they're gigantic because of it. So, that's what we did. Obviously, we didn't share in the same amount of success as what Bad Omens had with the Death of Peace of Mind, but it was a nice building block to the foundation of what we've been able to do, and the deluxe is crushed for us.
Yeah. Right. So looking back, mate, like how was the experience of working with other guest artists? Like at the time, like you'd be wrapped up in what you were doing and focusing on making the song, but with a bit of reflection, like what does that experience sort of bring you, I guess, as a musician and as a band?
Well, it's cool because if you do work with them, I mean everything's remote, right? Well, except for Maddie Mullins, we did do the recording remote, but we shot a music video together when we were on tour. But outside of that, everything's remote. But I think that it gives you the opportunity, if you do work one on one with the other artists, it gives you the opportunity to build a relationship there. Not only that, it gives you the opportunity to see the way that people work, produce music, the way that they write, the way that they sing, the way that they tick. So a couple of those artists, it was just the label reaching out. I never actually had contact with any of them. Yellow Wolf and Sullivan King. Like I honestly didn't even know Sullivan was doing a song or one of our songs, and then they sent it, and I was like, oh, this is sick. I had no clue it was even happening. And Yella, like we didn't talk or anything. I would have loved to. I love him as an artist. Been a Yella fan for a long time. But we created a great relationship with Maddie Mullins, outside of a relationship that our drummer Maddie had with the guys in Memphis Mayfire. And Aaron, I've been a fan of Aaron's work for since he was in Jamie's Elsewhere. So I'm glad that we finally got the opportunity to do that. And Chrissy was completely new, wasn't on our radar. The record label brought her to us when we said that we were looking for a female feature. We were hoping for like Amy Lee. I think that was like the top of our list, but I think that Chrissy ended up being the best fit for that song. So, the fact that we couldn't get Amy Lee, or maybe it never even landed on her radar, I don't know. But the fact that it didn't happen was a blessing because Chrissy crushed it. And I'm all about like I'm I'm all about like new artists and new artists, especially in rock and metal, like new artists getting an opportunity. That's why I love seeing like a lot of these young bands. And I'll use Bad Omens again as an example, explode and blow up and be able to do what they're doing because that just ensures the future of our genre of music. So Chrissy was great to work with and crushed for Barely Breathing.
Yeah, cool. You mentioned in passing earlier on about heading into the studio yourself, surely, mate. So is that part of a new block of material for From Ashes to New, or just the personal stuff?
No, yeah, it's From Ashes to New. We're overdue, man. But I mean, we've been working our asses off. We've been torn like crazy. So it's been really hard to, I just had a baby too. So he's 8 months old now. So it's been, with the personal life and the work life and touring all the time and just like so damn busy. So we haven't really had an opportunity to get super serious with new music. And like we want to be really serious with new music. Like we want to take the risks that we've taken before, continue to take risks. But I mean, like for lack of better words, I've been using the word precious. I've been very precious about what we're doing moving forward because of the Blackout album being such a gigantic step up for this band. We have to continue to grow on that, but also be genuine and authentic to who we are. So planning it out has taken more time, more studio time in my studio, in other studios, and just really making sure that we're honing in on creating something that people are going to fall in love with and keep in their libraries for decades.
Very cool. Before we let you go, mate, I've started a new segment called Photo Bomb where basically I troll your social media before I chat with you, pick out a couple of photos that I want to know more about and throw them at you. So I've got two for you, mate, and this is the first one. Tell us the story behind this.
Oh man, we just rolled into your town. We gonna fuck shit up. That's what that is. Those are the kids on the big wheels that you don't want to mess with, dude. That's what that is. So there's a venue and it's an amphitheater and I can't remember the name of the amphitheater. Sorry if anyone's watching this that loves that place. It's in Guilford, New Hampshire. We were on tour with Motionless in White and In This Moment and Fit for a King, and they have like all sorts of shit to play with there. It's really cool. They got toys and like the way that it's set up, they've got like food for all the artists. They got like vendors and like it's the best venue I've ever been to because of the way that it's set up for the artists. And they had big wheels, as you can see. And we were ripping them around and our photographer's like, hey, let's get a photo of this. So there we are.
Fantastic. And the second one I've got is this one from the tour bus, I'm guessing. It's a great photo.
Yeah, so that's Danny's personality in a nutshell right there. He's a menace, man. And that's his personality as well. Like, what the fuck? So I mean, you're just kind of seeing them in the raw right there, just goofing off, man. Like that's, it's a brotherhood, man. Like we're family. There's my dogs. They're chiming in.
Hey, you chiming in on the family part?
Yeah, that's right. Right, boys. Family.
See you later.
The missus must be home. So, but yeah, no. So I mean, they were just family, man. And that's right there is just two brothers hanging out.
Fantastic, mate. All right, bro. Well, thanks very much for your time, mate. Pleasure as always. From Ashes to New, we'll be in Australia for all three Good Things shows. A couple of side shows in Melbourne and Sydney. We'll be doing interviews in the Melbourne show, brother. So hopefully we get to catch up and have a beer.
Hell yeah, man. Love it.
You take care.
No beer on this end, though. I'm a sober guy now, so no beer on this end. But I'll tell you what.
I'll have a sparkling water with you, and I'll even have a name tag on. That's right. See me coming.
I don't mind being around. I'll still cheers you.
Sounds good to me, my friend. I'll bring you up a nice mineral water.
That sounds good, man. Hell yeah.
All right, brother. You take care, mate. We'll see you in a few weeks.
All right, man. Good talking. That's it.
All right.